feel like you have to take furious notes, or if there's somebody that you'd like to take the program with, you can always send them the recording, and they can take a look, and then you can do the program together. It's always fun to have a study buddy or a friend with you. So thank you for joining us. We're here to talk about the Executive Leadership Program here at UC Davis. My name is Heather Ogle. I'm the program manager. I take care of all of the logistics and things behind the scenes for you. And I'm going to just kick us off here and then turn it over to our director, Cleveland Justice, who's with us. So we're here today to talk about the program that's starting on September 8th. And this is our team. You can see an old picture of myself there. And then we have, like, as I mentioned, Cleveland is our director. He will be your main point of contact throughout the program. He is a wealth of information and knowledge, and is really going to be your facilitator as you go in depth in this sort of enriching experience. It's not a shallow experience. It's quite a deep dive, and he'll be there guiding you through it. We also have Jill Parrish, I mentioned here, as our director of business and leadership, as well as technology. And Katie Orton is joining us. She's our enrollment coach. And so as you apply, and if you have any questions, you can contact her. Or if you have any questions after the session that are still lingering, feel free to reach out. Katie will be happy to talk with you about those as well. And we'll also be hearing from one of our student services financial aid assistants on some of the options for paying for this program. That's Suzette, and so she'll have some information for us as well as we move forward. And we'll throw the link to the application in the chat. If you want to open that and get that started, turn it in by the end of the day, we can get you a response back tomorrow and get that turned around really quickly for you. We're also excited, hopefully, if her schedule allows, because she's quite busy, to be joined by one of our alumni. She's here, actually.
I see her.
Did you? Oh, great, excellent. Sorry, I can only see so many people at a time. Hi, Lourdes, thank you for joining us.
Hi.
Hi there. So very excited to be joined by an alumni of the program. She's doing amazing things and getting top 40 under 40 articles and great, fantastic stuff out there. So we'll hear her perspective, and you guys can feel free to ask her questions about her experience in the program as we move forward. So I'll pause there. Are there any questions from anybody out there? Bridget, she's our tech right now today.
No questions.
Folks introducing themselves. That's fantastic.
Great. So I take it from here?
Sure. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us and introducing yourselves in the chat. It's great to see so many folks here. My name is Cleveland Justice, and I'm the director of the program, which means that I will be leading the program throughout all of the sessions, and I'm responsible for the curriculum design, for working with our instructors, and for the overall quality of the program. And I'm passionate about leadership. My PhD is actually focused on organizational innovation and entrepreneurship, particularly at the intersection of different sectors. So my work and research is around the intersection of business, government, and nonprofits, which is perfect for this program because most of the participants in this program, it's about a third, about a third from for-profit businesses, about a third from government, and about a third from nonprofits, and sometimes some startup folks in there. So it's a great mix of people. I'm honored to lead this program. This is my third time leading with my third, maybe fourth cohort leading it. I taught in the program before that. So passionate about it and love this program. Lourdes, who's an alumna, great to have you here. She was in our last cohort, and you get to hear from her in a couple minutes. But I'm here to jump in and tell you a little bit about the curriculum for the program and the progression, and then we'll, throughout the webinar, we can take questions, and we'll have plenty of time at the end. So if you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat at any time, and I really appreciate everybody introducing themselves. So this program is focused on these 4 pillars. It's a top-notch leadership curriculum. We take and scour the very best of leadership and make it applicable to busy people. You're executives, you're leading organizations, you're leading businesses, and we know you don't have a lot of time, and so we want to synthesize and get the very best curriculum out to you. Second pillar is the 360, which some of you may have done before. We take it to a whole other level in this program. We do, you obviously get the feedback from 360 from your supervisors and peers and the people that you supervise, but we pair that with this coaching and leadership support. So there's a lot of focus on taking those results and then applying them in real time to your organization and to your leadership style. You're here usually because you want to make a difference in your organization and in your life, and those 360s and that coaching are an integral part of that program. Sometimes the hard part of it, because sometimes you hear things you don't want to hear, but what we hear from our alumni is that it's one of the most powerful parts of the program. And then the last pillar is this organizational transformation plan, which is to take all this work that we're doing throughout the program and to apply it to your organization so you can make change. And that becomes a focal point and a deliverable throughout the program. And we have small groups that you work with to help apply it and give you feedback throughout the whole session, the whole fall semester session. So this is the framework which we build the sessions around. So if you could advance the slides, you'll see our kind of 10 core elements of the curriculum that flow from those pillars. These generally correspond to a session each, and we're constantly evolving this curriculum. Obviously, when COVID hit, we needed to move online, so we added a session on remote leadership and ways to lead teams in remote sessions. Also, we added a session on inclusive leadership and bias, just a way to be a stronger leader within a very rapidly changing workforce, and how to be more effective. Of course, we talk about leading innovation, talk about leading change, and we even recently added a session on mindful leadership, which has become one of our most popular sessions. Amazing instructor who works primarily with Fortune 100 companies on how you can drive business results by being more mindful and more centered in your work. So fabulous curriculum. Each session is taught typically by a different instructor, and then I am the continuity throughout the program, although I actually teach some sessions as well. And then you have sessions, which we'll talk about a little bit every other week, and then in the week between the main sessions, you have small group meetings with what's called your home group, which is a smaller group. Let's move on to the next slide. Another component of this program that we're so proud of is we have living case studies on most sessions, and this is from our last session. A number of the speakers that come, and they present basically half an hour real world dilemmas, challenges, opportunities they're facing, and that ties to the curriculum for that session. So we have everybody from the chancellor of the university, who's an incredible leader and speaker and academic, who's overseeing basically a small city, multi-billion-dollar small city that is UC Davis, to Kirsten Tobey, who started a business to change food in schools around America. Started in college and now has over, I want to say, I think last I heard $300 million a year in revenue. To Steve Lockhart, who was the chief medical officer at Sutter Health, multi-billion-dollar organization, and of course, a number of state employees and people leading state agencies, like a number of you, and their challenges and opportunities for doing their work. So we really try to tie these together. And instead of having you read long case studies, we bring the people in and we have them present in real time, and you get to ask them questions and hear about their leadership dilemmas, what it's like to be doing their work in their position. Let's go to the next slide. As I said in a prior slide, we have executive coaching that is included in the program. Our coaches are certified professional coaches. They're top of the field, and they work with you on the results of the 360 and interpreting it and applying it to your organization. And we include 2 sessions that are part of your tuition for this program. And then we also make it available at a per session arrangement with your coach if you want to continue that coaching. And many of our participants continue on with the coaching after the program. We constantly hear just how valuable this coaching is for taking their organizations and their leadership to the whole other level. And I think probably the most powerful part of the program are our alumni. And you're going to hear in a moment from Lourdes. I'm going to maybe in a moment we can take down the slide and put a full screen on Lourdes. But this just gives you an example of some of the alumni in recent years. We have folks from that have worked in all different sectors. Typical cohort for us is somewhere between 15 and 25 participants, and we work really hard to connect the alumni throughout all the sessions, and then even after the sessions. We have reunions. I believe Lourdes, maybe in your cohort, that got together for wine. Afterwards, we plan some time, even though it's a virtual session, to have some meetups throughout the program. Now, depends obviously on what's happening with COVID, but we opted to continue the program being online, not knowing exactly what was going to happen with the pandemic, but also because we found that people could form really great connections even in the online setting. These were connections where some people continue meeting with their small groups that they formed during the program. So with that, Heather, maybe we could take down the slide and just focus on Lourdes. And Lourdes, welcome. Thank you. We're so pleased that you could join us today. And know you're busy running a major hospital group, but love just to have you introduce yourself. And I was going to ask you a couple of questions about the program.
Yes. So hi, everyone. My name is Lourdes Moldre. I'm the patient care director for UCSF Health Mount Zion. When I was part of the cohort last year, I was actually in my position as a clinical director for the Comprehensive Cancer Center. So my role was a little bit different because I was transitioning into a different role back to UCSF. So this program really positioned me and really applied all of the new skills from the amazing leadership curriculum that I learned from this program.
Wonderful. Maybe you could talk a little bit about your experience in the curriculum, kind of the high points and any low points.
Yeah, so lots of high points. So as you know, with my position at the Cancer Center, I was a clinical director, so I was very busy myself, Monday through Fridays, 8 to 10 hours each day. But the program was very accommodating to working professionals such as myself. It's every other 2 weeks of online sessions. So I believe Thursday, Fridays, 2 to 6, and then Fridays, 9 to 1. And it allowed us to really prepare for those particular cohorts. So we knew the schedule ahead of time. We had PowerPoint presentation. And even the classes, so one of the favorites that we took were leading change, the change management, adaptive leadership, which were very applicable during the COVID-19 times and also in healthcare, right? Which is change is super constant. The other classes that were really impactful for me were the mindful leadership, as I mentioned, with wellness, stress, burnout, and healthcare. It focused on, self-care and wellness meditation, which were really crucial. I remember even purchasing the books and I gave it out to all of my leaders because it really helped me a lot. Momentum and strategies were really good as well. Values and leadership were very impactful. The other things I really liked, which Cleve mentioned, were the case study speakers. So Gary May, our UC Davis chancellor, was there. Vivek Ranadive, who was the CEO for the Sacramento Kings, were really, really great to speak with and have discussions with ongoing, challenges as a leader. And lastly, Dr. Stephen Lockhart as a Chief Medical Officer for Sutter, related to my current role. Also, what really were special with those leaders were because they're also people of color. So I was able to relate to them, and those were really helpful. The other things, students in my cohort were very helpful as well because there weren't many leaders from the healthcare field. So I was able to understand their thought process different from mine. They were from academia, nonprofit, government agencies, and startups. The 360 feedback were also impactful for me because it really showed how I showed up to other leaders. So I really learned, some of those, comments that are working and also the things that I can work on. And then lastly, the one-on-one coaching. So there were a few different styles of coaching and I was aligned with the most appropriate coach, executive coach. So that was really great.
Oh, what a great summary.
Yes.
That's amazing. If you were to just think now that you've been finished the program for a little while, just what's the one or two of the big takeaways that you remember?
So I think it was in the early couple of weeks were the inclusive leadership. So, the big DI kind of initiatives that all of the companies are doing right now were very helpful. Understand, being open with other, cultures and traditions. And also the remote leadership were also one of the key takeaways as especially in healthcare, working from home, those type of things were still pretty new back then just because of COVID-19. So the points and the suggestions on how to lead those teams were at the time were very crucial in my leadership role.
Tell us a little bit about what you learned from your colleagues in the program.
Yeah, so I really had amazing classmates in my cohort. I think it's, like I said, I was one of the few coming from the healthcare field, and most of them were, in, public organizations, nonprofit government agencies. So I think just understanding the bureaucracies. Some of them are, were leading smaller groups and some of them had larger groups as well. So I think understanding their thought process and also in leadership, it's kind of the same challenges across the board. Because that was kind of like my worry going into the program, how much can I really learn if my peers were outside of healthcare, but it's actually the opposite. It really opened my eyes in other ways to really overcome some of these challenges outside of the healthcare field. So that was really helpful.
That's great. And if you were to have some advice for people that are either on this call that are either enrolled or considering enrolling, what kind of advice do you have for them?
Yeah, I think really take this opportunity as you enter into this, the cohort, this upcoming cohort. Try to really understand, the commitments, right? Because, you attend those classes and you have these amazing speakers, you want to be really engaged and take in as much as you can. So really prepare yourselves. make sure that you are focused on those in those classes. Do not have, coinciding meetings, right? Because you don't want to multitask. Prepare, those Harvard Business Review articles were really, really great. I mean, I even read those even now. And so what I would say is to really plan it out, organize, for the next 3 months with your work. And also, I think, engage your supervisors, right? Like mentioned, you're part of these, cohorts, these programs. You want it to be as impactful as it is in your current role. And you really want to carve out time for those.
Mm. So we have a question in the chat around the schedule of the program. How does that work with a healthcare schedule?
Yeah, so I think is it like 4 hours, 6 hours? It's really Thursday, Fridays. So
Yes.
just really letting your supervisor know, on every other Thursdays and Fridays from 2 to 6. I mean, you really get out of work for 5 p.m., right? So the 2 to 6, blocking that time, and in the morning 9 to 1 Friday. And it's really every 2 weeks. So just really setting aside your meetings around those. If not, then have a backup, in your current role, other peers. So I think it's just really spending the time to really dedicate these, these classes to yourself, knowing that, there's a lot of work on the front end, but knowing you will benefit from them in the long run as a leader.
Great. And the other thing I would add to that question, these are great, there's good questions coming up in chat, is that we do record the sessions. So we understand that life happens and that you're busy professionals. The expectation is that you attend classes because they're every other week from Thursday afternoon and Friday morning, and we'll talk about the schedule in a couple minutes in detail. But we understand that life happens, kids get sick, people, families have their challenges and work has its challenges. So you can catch up that way. Having said that, it is a demanding program. And if you know that you're going to have a, major project in the fall, I would probably wait until another time because you want to get the most out of it. Having said that, we do everything we can to maximize the learning and not waste your time. And to really make it available. I'm happy to meet with people. I schedule office hours, happy to catch up with people. And we understand about unexpected situations. So that happens and people catch up on the video. But if you just feel, if and you kind of look inside yourself and say, oh boy, this fall is going to be way busier than the past, you might wait. I want to encourage you to join. But if something's extraordinary happening for you, I would wait there. But the day-to-day things that happen for busy professionals and families, we understand. I think that does that jive with your experience, Lourdes?
Yeah, definitely. Because I remember one of our cohorts, she was actually even calling in from Italy, right, from one of our classes, because she had to go there for job related work and she was calling in from Italy. So it does happen where, there are things happening in our lives that we just kind of make it work. The recorded videos are really helpful, and Cleve is really flexible as well. He sets up office time to really support everyone.
Yeah, that's great. There's a question about class size. The cohorts typically are about 15 to 25. Lourdes, I think yours was around 15.
Yes, I think 14, 15.
That's what rings a bell for me. And then we could talk about the structure. Classes meet on Thursday afternoon and Friday morning. Thursday afternoon from 2 to 6 and Friday morning from 9 to 1. And the idea is we don't want to intrude too much either on your work time or your family time. And we know that you are busy, but we do expect that you have buy-in from your supervisors, and there's an expectation that they are comfortable with you missing some of that work time. So that is the case. And then some people often wonder about prep, and we try not to have to prep for more than an hour or two for each session. We'll give you more articles if you're interested, and happy to. I'm an academic, happy to give you lots of information. But in order to be prepared for the session, I'd say it's about an hour to 2 hours of reading every other week. That's the expectation. I want to let you get back to work. Lourdes, but just any kind of parting words of wisdom, thoughts, questions that you had when you were considering it that you might be able to answer for people proactively?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, kind of like what I meant, what you pointed out is really engagement from their supervisor is really crucial, right? Because it's, carving out that investment, knowing that it will come back, exponentially to the organization. For me, that's how I sold it to my supervisor. It was part of my leadership growth. And so that's crucial. And I think just really being open to all of these amazing things that you will learn from the program. I had an exceptional experience. I still, I'm in touch with most of our cohorts, like what Cleve said, that we went out for, just to touch, I think, winery, just to kind of get together, because you will have these life friends. They will be, in your circle of friends, for many years to come, right? Because they'll be your peers, they'll be your go-to people in terms of leadership challenges. So yeah, well, thank you everyone and good luck. And definitely feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions.
Yeah, do you want to put your information in the chat? I can also do it. There's a question about, and maybe before you go, you can just jump on this one. It's just, are we able to make presentations focused on the area that we work? And the short answer is yes. Not only are you able to, we encourage it. So a key deliverable from your time is an organizational transformation plan, and that's based on your work. Would you mind just talking about that before you head back to work, Lourdes?
Yes, definitely. So because with my initial, role at the Cancer Center, I was creating a program, bone marrow transplant, that I was going to use for my deliverable for my project, but then it changed when I moved to UCSF, which is nursing engagement for the Gallup survey. So it's really depending on your current focus at your work right now, that you're working on, and using the tools that you're learning from the program in order to set you up for success. So it's actually pretty cool to apply those in your current position. So yes, well, good luck everyone, and feel free to reach out, email me.
Wonderful. Thank you, Lourdes, for being here. It just means so much to us that you're able to continue to give back. So thank you. Have a great rest of your day. And then we're going to continue on with a webinar, everybody else. But thanks for joining us, Lourdes. We'll let her get back to work. So let's go back to the slide deck. And this slide, I think, just covers some of the questions that people had about the schedule. It's the course starts in early September, and it goes for 12 weeks. As I said, the program goes on from Thursday from 2 to 6 and Friday from 9 to 1 every other week. And then in the week that we're not meeting for class, you're expected to meet for 1 to 2 hours with what's called your home group, which is a smaller cohort of people that you work on your organizational transformation plans with. And you can schedule that around your schedule. Some groups prefer to meet first thing in the morning. Some prefer to meet after the work days. Some meet late at night. It really just depends upon what works for your group. It's 7 hours of content per week, and then 12 weeks of content, and the sessions are recorded as I mentioned. So we encourage you to prep, but we don't overwhelm you with information. So we want to make this actionable and reasonable, and to work with busy lives. Great. Heather, you want to take it from here?
Sure thing. So these are just some of the logistics, what you're getting for your dollars. It's one price, and then don't think about anything else. We get you your textbooks, materials, access to all of the assessments and your coaches. So you guys are busy, so we try and make it as easy as we can for you. And it also comes with CEUs. If you happen to need those, you can have those as well. And you do come away with that action plan that is directly applicable to what you're doing right then and there in your job. This is probably a good time to bring on Suzette and have her mention some of our options for paying for the program and working with your employers, etc. Thanks, Suzette.
Thanks, Heather. No, just to let you know, my name is Suzette Odom, and I'm the student finance advisor. I work with student services. We do offer several different financing options for you. We have private student loans that you can apply for. The lenders that we work with are Sally Mae and College Avenue. We also we can help you with any training funds that you are interested in. We have WIOA, which is Workforce Investment Opportunity Act, and also SETA. We also work with the VA students as well. We do offer VA benefits for this program. So I just wanted to let you guys know, and also a lot of students are aware of this, though. If you are a spouse of a veteran, we also offer help with the MyCAA scholarship. So if you're interested in that, please let me know. I'll go ahead and put the link for the financing information on the chat for you, so you'll have that available, and I'll also put my email on there as well.
Thanks so much. And we do have a lot of folks work with their supervisors and have at least part of the tuition, if not all of it, paid for by their employer. And so we can work with you to make that happen as well, since this is going to be directly beneficial to them.
There was a question about scholarships for nurses in particular in healthcare. I don't know if we have those.
Nothing that I know of off the top of my head, but it's always a good idea to get with Suzette directly, and we can look into the details for you.
Yeah, we can definitely look into scholarships for you.
Suzette, would you mind putting your email in the chat so
Sure.
people can reach out to you?
Sure.
Thank you. Terrific.
So I'm just going to pause here. Here is our contact information. If you would like to get in touch with any of the program team, this is how you can reach us. And that wraps up all of our content for you today on the program itself, but we have plenty of time to answer questions. We are here for you guys so that you can have all the info you need. And so please feel free to throw anything else out that might be on your mind, and we can talk about that.
It's a great time if you have questions to put them in the chat. I'm going to put my contact information, and I sent you all an email, so you should have that. And I'll also put my cell phone number if you want to reach out or call or text me. So very, very, very accessible. Want to answer any of your questions, any concerns. Boy, we were so clear. Heather, would you mind, just while people are thinking and deciding if they have any questions, just reminding the application deadline and anything there? So, okay, up 24th. Great.
Yep. So we have just a little over a month to apply. If you are thinking about having your employer help pay for the program, sooner is better, because those things always take a little bit of time. But we are happy to work with them, credit card, invoicing, whatever have you. And then I always like to mention, and highlight the fact that it is a cohort program, which means that you're really getting time to interact with other leaders, both in similar situations, but also in different industries. So you're getting that diverse perspective, but people who are dealing with similar issues. And so as Lourdes mentioned, you get some lifetime friends out of this program. We have lots of people who stay connected and continue to be resources for each other. So as much as the learning is a fantastic resource, the people that make up the program are also fantastic resources that you get the opportunity to experience in this program. So,
Well, I'm not seeing any more questions, Heather, so maybe we'll just take that as a sign that we answered those, had some great questions throughout the session. So very much appreciate all of you for joining us today during your lunch hour. If you have any questions at all, you have, I think, all of our contact information, and we follow up with an email. So feel free to reach out to any of us. And if you want to meet with any of the other alumni from the program, happy to connect you with them. It's a fabulous program. We look forward to the kickoff and the program of all year long. So looking forward to meeting those of you that sign up, and if not, just have a great afternoon. Again, thanks for your time, and Heather and Bridget and Suzette and Katie, thanks for joining us, and we will stand by if you need us anytime in the future. And I know that Katie is happy to meet with any of you and answer any of the signups and logistics questions. Her schedule link is in the chat. So thanks everybody.
thanks
I'm gonna
everybody.
sign
Have a great afternoon.
All right.